Hey, everybody, thanks so much for joining me today. I am really happy and honored to be able to bring to you a gentleman who's on a mission, and I'm going to let him tell you all about it. While we are waiting for people to join in, please let us know where you're watching from, and because we have people from all over the world, which is so cool. But also, if you have any questions for our guest, and our guest is JC, and he has an organization, a mission called Rock the Troops. And JC, welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your story and why you're doing this.
Well, Operation Rock the Troops started back right after 9/11. And I finally got a hold of the Pentagon, which sounds crazy, in 2003. But it took me 3 years to convince them that anywhere they needed live music, without it being like a national band or any kind of struggle, we always have to worry about, the managers and the recording, or the studios and all that. It's like, just send someone who cares about America. Anywhere you want in the world, we'll go.
Hmm.
And, fast forward today, we've now done 7 world tours, 15 countries, 40 military bases, and over 1,000 concerts. And no one knows who I am still. And
Well,
that's okay.
they're gonna know who you are, not just because of me, but we are trying to also arrange an interview with you and Ted, so
Oh,
that will
well,
get your program out on the map and let people know what it is that you're doing. How
right
did
on.
you get involved in this? Why did you want to? What
I
kind
mean,
of music background do you have?
well, one, I just love music. I've been a bedroom rock star, as I call it, since birth. When I was building guitars for my dad's wood shop, using fishing string as the guitar strings, a tie as the strap, and I would have I without my mom knowing, because music was the devil for her. The way that I grew up in Connecticut, so I bought a guitar chord book and I learned how to play all the chords on this makeshift guitar, so that one day when I moved out and I got my guitar, I would know how to play music. So I've
Mm.
always been this crafty musician. But when 9/11 happened, I just wanted to use my guitar as my gun. And that's where I wanted to go to the front lines.
Wow.
And it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, I found a way by calling the Pentagon saying, send me, send me, send me. And at one South by Southwest, because I'm in Dallas, Texas, I got a call from one of the lieutenant colonels that was running the Armed Force Entertainment. Most people always think that if you tour for the troops, it's under the USO. Most people don't realize the USO is a nonprofit charity. But I was working directly with the Pentagon, the Armed Force Entertainment. So they sent us first off to the Pacific, and we went to locations most people don't even know that we have bases. Like, as soon as you pass over Hawaii, there's a land of islands called the Marshall Islands, and there's two bases there on Kwajalein and Roy. And on Roy Island, that's where we have one of these big satellites that watches everything that happens in North Korea. But there's 100 people on the island, and they get one carrier a year. So they sent us out there, and they're like, go perform for them, no one else will. And I'm like, done, send me. So, I mean, but they've sent me all over the world, like
Wow.
over the last, but then it was probably, 2014. I'm a filmmaker by trade. And, you asked the question, how did I get into music? I landed on a reality TV show. It's embarrassing now to say, but in 2003, their reality shows weren't as crappy as they are today.
Right.
But
Right.
I was on a reality show, and I knew they were going to pin me as the long haired rocker guy. So I knew to re sign the contract that said I own all my publishing and all my own songwriting. So when I was on the show, I found out that every 15 seconds on Fox on Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m., 15 seconds equates to $2,500. So I was just singing to everybody. And I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do. If I can't be on a stage and draw thousands of people, I can actually be on TV, make movies, and put my music there, and I'll reach more people. And I had this crazy idea that, what if I could be the first, military or veteran organization that has a TV series on a network? Could I pull this off? And all I wanted to do, so I started bringing my camera on all of the tours that we did. But in 2014, when I started editing everything together, I had to submit it to the Pentagon, and they squashed 50% of the movie. They're like, "Yeah, do you not see the satellite behind you? Yeah, you can't show that, and you can't show this. They didn't have Google Maps back then, so it was kind of like, what am I showing? And I didn't realize that, oh, you can't show their name tags. So we
Mm.
recrafted the movie so we could inspire people that, from the grandmother that makes the wristbands, you know what I'm saying, that says, I love our troops, or a pin that is a flag. Everyone can do something. And all I did was do music. And I was like, maybe I can inspire people. And we landed our TV series, landed worldwide, what do you call it, distribution. And it made it all over the world. But we found out a year later, a certain performer that everybody knows, he's probably one of the most popular people in America. Kind of has the same name as, my company down there, like the first four letters. Decided to put out his own TV show saying that he was doing everything that I was doing. And I didn't realize, or they didn't realize, that I have a trademark for Operation Rock the Troops. So if you go to Google and you type in Rock the Troops, you'll see his face everywhere. And then all of a sudden you see me popping up everywhere.
Mm.
So everything that we worked on, I had full 8 episodes, 1 hours each, to show people from all over the world, and all the veterans, active duty, everybody that I interviewed got squashed, and I
Mm.
lost everything. And everything that we had just went down the drain. And your heart hurts, because it's like,
Yeah.
well, now what am I going to do? And I had to retool everything. And in 2016, we did a tour to a military base called Diego Garcia. It's in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And it's one of the craziest military bases. I mean, to me, I was like, where are we in the middle of the world? And what
Yeah.
they do at this base. And I did a cross country tour. And the idea was everything that our band would make that year, we would buy these new medical devices called Inlight Medical. It was infrared, red light, blue light, and infrared therapy. We wanted to find out if it could actually penetrate the skull and reverse traumatic brain injury. So I
Mm.
filmed a whole movie on this, and we chose 5 veterans, and we were like, can we actually show this over 12 weeks? We had these guys sign contracts. We had HIPAA. We ended up getting published on PubMed, white papers through Harvard, and we showed how we can reverse, or put blood flow back into the brain. So how
Wow.
exciting. So we got our guitars, our weapons, and I started hitting all the VAs, all of the military bases across the US that would let us show the movie, and then we would perform. And what happened was, during this trip, we started to find out that whenever like national artists will go perform, like one time for example, we went to Kunsan, Korea, right underneath the DMZ. And they went from a high, like security, no one could go anywhere, and they dropped it down. They're like, all right, we need to give these guys some music. And, the story goes, like, I think it was like Green Day wanted $60,000, Bowling for Soup wanted 40,000. And I was like, I'll do it for 20,000. Like, and they sent us over there for 10 days. And while we were there, it's like, well, I'm only going to put on one show. What am I doing for the other 9 days? And
Right.
they were like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, perform. What do you think I want to do? I don't want to just play one show. We're not rock stars. Like, they're the rock stars. What do we need to do? So I came up with this idea of giving free music lessons to anybody that wanted it, and anybody that could learn a song. Here was our set list. Join us on stage at the big show. No one else was doing something like that. And I started to realize, okay, we can give free music lessons to veterans and their family members, so that when the active duty come home, we could help connect them with their family. I mean, how cool is this? Now dad and mom can learn how to play music with their kid and reconnect. And then that's when I started to realize, well, what's really the seed of music? Songwriting.
Mm.
So how can I teach songwriting to these guys and girls and actually make it impactful? And that's where we are today. We have our program called Highway Home, and it's a singer songwriter, what do you call it? Healing camp. So the
Mm.
veterans have 7 days to come together with me and national artists, and they have 7 days to go through my therapy session. I teach them how to write in a journal. So instantly they're taking something that's inside here and putting it out, but kind of like a sleight of hand. They don't realize that they're writing, without them knowing it, the lyrics to their own story. And then with the national artists, they now get to sit down and share a story, because most people don't understand, when a veteran comes home, we train these men and women to be soldiers, to do exactly what we need them to do that none of us really want to do. And they have a boot camp, but they're never given a boot camp when they come home to reverse them back to civilian life. So they're going 100
Yep.
miles per hour to zero. Well, if I can give them an art form that they could utilize now, they don't have to be rock stars. They just have to be able to sit down and pick up an instrument. And now they have a voice that they could actually, now all of that negative stuff isn't in here or in here. It's not in their nightmares anymore. It's on a piece of paper and then a melody. And then what happens when you sing that song? The person that hears it also heals. So it's the only drug, I call it a drug, music is a drug, that you can take that helps not only the writer, but the listener. Like if I taken a leave because I got a bad back, which I do, it's not going to help your bad back. But if I write a song and then you hear it, then you and I are connected. So that to me is what we do.
I love that, and I love that you are asking, "Use me. How can I be of service?" and finding a void, and nobody's really doing this. I know that people are artists, whether they're musicians or writers or painters or dancers, they
Exactly.
create art because it's inside of them. And if these veterans have a story to tell, and if you pair them up with a musician who understands the songwriting process and how to get it from a printed page to into music, into a melody, maybe the musician can hear that melody and put it into a beautiful ballad or a hard rock song so that
Oh yeah.
other people can enjoy it. So that's just a brilliant idea. What's your next step? Have you produced this show, this documentary?
It's a great question because to be honest with you, again, I thought like my heart couldn't handle another defeat. And, you sit here, because I mean, we operate, I mean, it's just me. There's no money. I have no employees. I have a great board and I love my board, but we always operated that, in 2016, if we wanted to go do that tour, well, we would have to go play all of these shows and I would have to find musicians that would play for free so that we could take this money and then cover the cost of everything because touring across the US, even back then, was still expensive. So it was very, it took a lot of time and effort to get there, but we did get there. You know what I'm saying? And toxic fumes, I see what he's saying in life and in combat. It's funny, whoever said that, because it just says Facebook user.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you got to watch. We do write about it. So the question that you asked was, did we do it? And I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I was afraid it was going to be stolen again.
Ah,
And but then I thought to myself, listen, if anybody wants to steal an idea that helps people, then who am I? I couldn't be upset at, Dwayne Johnson The Rock for doing something because he wanted to help people. It wasn't like he came after me. He has no idea I exist. Again, I'm a little guy and I got that. So this time what we did is I partnered with a charity in Alaska called Battle Dogs. They're on just under 700 acres of land. The guy that runs it and his wife is still active duty. She's like number 2 in Fairbanks military base.
mm,
He is an old 8-time Iditarod dog racer. So they have 60 dogs on their property. And he started by bringing combat veterans out there to heal through the land and the property. I mean, from hunting to learning how to sit there with the animals to going fishing, it was a great reset. And he found out about me and we pitched the idea of why not do a songwriting camp in Alaska. So we've now filmed 2 full documentaries in Alaska. We've now filmed 2 full documentaries in Ireland where we partnered with, it's called the Texas Tornado Tour, and they bring 20 of the top Texas country artists, and we're now going to open it up to Nashville, where they all stay in one big hotel. So all the fans get to like exist with all of the big celebrities, and the rock stars and all of that stuff. And then we put on a series of concerts. And that is about to air. It's on a network called the Country Network, TCN, and it's going to air on Veterans Day, 3 full episodes of one of our first camps. And it's pretty exciting because finally someone's about to see what it is that we're doing, because when COVID hit, I had to shut down
yeah.
everything. And then we couldn't play. So I had $0. And you're sitting here in your house and you've got like 5 terabytes of footage going, all right, well,
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll edit it for free. Let me go ahead and just do it. And we finally landed on a network. So Where we are right now is we filmed 5 full songwriting healing camps. One of them will be on a network. But what's exciting is we already know we're going back to Alaska this coming summer. We're going back to Ireland in August 27th. And now we're looking for the national artists that want to go with us. And we're looking for a national artist that has a voice similar to a Gary Sinise or even a Dwayne Johnson or a Kid Rock or a, I don't know, someone else maybe, that wants to actually sit there and help us be the narrator in the show. So I don't want it to be me. You know, I'm a character in it, but I want a voice that a network would go, okay, you have so and so. Now we already loved your story, but it didn't have anybody attached to it. Again, I know I'm a no name. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I like being a no name, but you need a name to get on a distribution.
Right.
And
Right.
that,
And I know that the problem is because I've been speaking with Diana, who's scheduling you, and she's
she's amazing.
obviously trying to get, she's amazing. She's trying to get Ted involved in this. And he's booked out for a year. That's the
That's
problem.
awesome.
Some of these, yeah, some of these major artists, they have commitments, previous commitments that they can't just go travel to Ireland or travel to do things. And people don't
Right.
realize we're doing a charity event December 1st for hurricane relief for Southwest Florida. And people don't realize, like, yes, Ted will do it for nothing, for no cost. But people who are assisting, you know, some of the band and some of the crew, they might not want to do it for free. They might not have agreed to do it for free. So there are expenses involved in doing charity work. So I appreciate what you're doing, and God bless you, because this is so needed. It sounds like an amazing program, and I can't wait to find out more about it. When do you think people could get a glimpse? Do you have a trailer or anything that
Yeah,
people could watch?
everything's right now. I mean, if you go to our Facebook page on Operation Rock the Troops, very simple, Operation
Okay.
Rock the Troops, you can see the 30-second trailer. Also, you can see the trailer from the first Alaska series that's released. But because there's music, you know, and again, I'm still new in this and I'm still trying to find people that, you know, the help that we need directly is I don't know who showrunners are to Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime. I
Yeah.
don't know enough about music publishing and songwriting because we've written these great songs that I didn't want to put them out yet because I know if I put them out, Netflix, for example, could say, well, you already released it. There's nothing new here. So I'm holding on to 4 or 5 of our original songs we've written with the veterans because I know how strong some of them are. You know, obviously I've been in the industry for over 22 years. And because I'm a film director, I film national artist music videos. So it's not like I'm not in the industry and I'm a newbie in that regard. But I also know the proper step now for a network to like me is to be partnered with distribution companies and know these showrunners.
Yeah.
And I've already paid for everything. The only thing we're raising money for with the charity is post production. I've already paid for all of the veterans to go on all these trips, to go on the excursions,
Wow,
their
that's
flights,
awesome.
everything's paid for. So now it's just a matter of like, how do I get it to the network? And
Right.
that's where we
Well,
are.
how can people find out more? Should they go to Rock the Troops on your Facebook page, or is there another? If somebody could type this in the comment section, I'll repost it. Where would you send
Oh,
people to find out more? Oh,
just go
okay.
to operationrockthetroops.org. I mean, it's,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's,
OperationRockTheTroops.org. Kevin, can you type that in for me? I have a few people that always jump on to my Facebook Lives, and I love it because they're so on it. As far as, you know, we're doing charity events as much as possible. And whenever we do something like this, our people respond. And I think that's what's really important, especially with, you know, Veterans Day coming up. A lot of people have been focused on the election tomorrow, which I hear there's a pretty big election tomorrow.
yeah,
And that's important, but
very big.
so is Veterans Day, and so is helping. It was funny because I was watching some news program this morning, Fox probably, and they had asked a guest on there. Oh, it was Mike Rowe. They were asking Mike Rowe, Mike, if you were president, you know, in your dreams, like what would you recommend? And I thought about what I would do if I was president. You know, it's shocking to me that we are helping other countries and we don't even help our veterans.
Of
Our
course not.
veterans should not be homeless. Our veterans should not have to go without medication and music. I
Right.
mean, there's so many different therapies that people can get involved in. And meanwhile, we're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine. So I don't want to get started on that, but I want to help you out and send people your way. So operationrockthetroops.org. Is that right?
That's simple. And then it's the same thing. It's facebook.com/Operation Rock the Troops or Instagram/Operation Rock the Troops.org. That's where everything is. And I mean, if you go to the website, you can click on our GoFundMe, which is right there. Right now, we're looking for sponsors, whether it's individuals or companies, for $5,000. You pay for it covers the cost of the veteran, where their food, their lodging, their excursions, their flights, that everything that they have is taken care of for them to go on this full experience. Because, like there's a lot of beautiful charities out there that take veterans out, hunting. Let's go fishing. Let's go
Yeah.
do all of these cool activities. And I think those are beautiful. What we like to think that we do different, because I discredit nobody, I love anybody who wants to help anybody at any level, is that we want them to, like, when they leave, not have a picture of something that they did that was cool, but I want them to leave with an art form. I'm not giving them a fish. I want to teach them how to fish. I want
Yes.
them to be able to take something that they can share with their family, share with a listener. It's a way, at the end of the day, mental health comes down from, I don't know you have a mental health problem if you don't tell me. So I'm going to teach you how to speak. And if you won't just speak, well, then I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can sing or how
Yeah.
you can do it this way, because that's when healing begins, when we
Yeah.
talk about our issues.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you, JC. And I hope that people are going to go to operationrockthetroops.org and, whatever you can help out with, $10, $20, $100, that would be great because it's all going for such a good cause. We need to help our veterans, especially with Veterans Day coming up, but every day. To think that our veterans go
Absolutely.
without anything that they need, they put their lives on the line for us. And you're right. They have so many stories within them and they come home. Years ago, I went to a film that talked about the World War II vets coming home and they never talked about the things that they went through. There was never anything called PTSD or they just went to work. They went back to work and they never talked about it. And those traumas will come out eventually. And why not bring it put it in a way where it can help other people through music, through art. And so what you're doing, JC, and your organization, Operation Rock the Troops, is really helping them. I've got one question here from Janet Ristoff. How do you help the homeless veterans? We need to help them and get them better accommodations than the immigrant. Oh, gosh. Totally
It's so
agree. Do you have
true.
any comments on that, JC?
Well, the best thing for, I mean, how do we help the homeless veterans? There are veteran organizations that do that. There's one that's in Dallas, Operation Homefront. There's not Homefront. Yeah, that's one of them. Operation Once in a Lifetime. Those are the organizations that if I hear about a homeless veteran, I pass them to them because that's what they have the resources to help. We don't have the resources. The only resource that I get is if I go out there and play a show and have money come in. Now I have money. So I've never really had big donors or whatnot, but to help them, do I agree with it? 100%, not even a question. Two, you've got to find, depending on what community you're in, just go to Google and type in veteran organizations helping homeless in Dallas. And
Yeah,
you
in
will,
your area. And
because that is what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you're doing is filling a particular void, and what other organizations do to help veterans just with basics and food and shelter and clothing. That's
Right.
another organization. But Doug Nelson says, you are doing God's work. So thank you so much, JC, for spending time with us. And I hope everybody goes to Operation Rock the Troops to find out how they can get involved and how they can help.
I love it. And I have one last thing for you because you brought up World War II, and you're talking about the greatest generation that ever lived, that an uncomfortable truth, in the next 3 to 5 years, we're not going to have anybody from that generation.
Mm.
And a sidebar to this, and it's not with my charity, it's with my film company, is we've now taken 22 World War II veterans back overseas 3 different times. It's my good Marine buddy friend. His name's Andy Biggs out of Boston. He wrote a book called The Rifle, and he has an M1 rifle that he had over 250 World War II veterans tell him their stories and sign this rifle. But along the way, he was like, well, what if we took some of these World War II guys back overseas? So
Mm.
if anybody wanted to find out more information, my email's on Operation Rock the Troops. Email me. I'll send you all of the trailers. We've now done 2 movies. We already won the Best Military Documentary Emmy in 2019. We just got nominated for our Battle of the Bulge, and we find out November 12th, this Saturday, if we win the Emmy for that.
Oh my
And
gosh, good for you.
exciting. And then the third, we were in Normandy um, for we were in Normandy, Bastogne, Belgium, Germany, and Holland. We took 4 World War II veterans, and one of them was one of the last African Americans that ever landed on Normandy Beach, walked back out on the beach. And when I tell you how powerful it is, you could see the ghost in his eyes through my camera lens. I crap you not, it was the most unreal experience, and I'm about to edit that full movie, and we're looking to put that out as a series as well. I mean, these stories need to be heard. You
Yeah,
said it earlier, and you're
absolutely.
100% correct. If we don't, when they came back, they didn't share their PTSD story because back then we didn't have the most evil thing in the world, social media, though it's beautiful, but it's also evil, if you don't mind me saying that, because when they came home, it was, well, I've got to raise my family and I got to go
Right,
back to work, because
right.
that was life. That's what made them the greatest generation, is they went over their selfless, and they
Yeah,
they, they literally just came back and just started doing their stuff.
yeah,
And so you
absolutely.
gotta hear their stories. So
Well,
I just wanted to throw that in there.
thank you so much, JC, for what you're doing. And
You-
everybody go to operationrockthetroops.org and see how you can get involved and how you can help. This is a great charity, great organization. And I thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the time, and everybody that's watching or will watch down the line. Thank you so much for paying attention.
All right, everybody, have a great day. Make it a great day. Do something healthy and happy for you today. Don't forget, vote tomorrow if you haven't already filled in your absentee ballot, not mail in ballots, absentee ballots. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.
Okay.